For the longest time, it felt like J.R.R. Tolkien's iconic and culturally significant literary work, The Lord of the Rings, would be spared the woke treatment and avoid being sullied by the mediocrity of modern Hollywood. Unfortunately, we got The Rings of Power on Amazon, and that was the end of that. I can't remember the last time a show has provided so much material for memes and satire. As you've no doubt noticed on YouTube and elsewhere, the memes are probably the best thing that's come out of this show.
It is only natural to feel conflicted.
Conflicted?
Do you remember what I whispered to you under this very tree?
Do you know why a sink floats and a ship gets stoned?
The sea is always right!
Wing.
Grasping for a handhold in a tempest. There is a tempest in me. And it will not be quelled by you, Regent.
$1 billion budget, and the best they could produce is a dull, predictable, empty shadow of Tolkien's work. Ultimately, we already know how the story of Middle-earth is resolved in Tolkien's Third Age in The Lord of the Rings. There was no reason for the Second Age to be turned into a live-action prequel series. There was no serious interest in something like that from Tolkien fans. We've seen Sauron defeated already, and it's been put to film in the Peter Jackson trilogy. And we especially didn't need to see the departures from established canon that we've seen in this series, to say nothing of the low-quality writing. At best, this series has detracted from the saga and added absolutely nothing of value to the legacy of Tolkien. It has proven once again that modern Hollywood is bereft of original ideas and unable to innovate and come up with entirely new characters, new series, and new stories. And just think, there's plans for 5 seasons of this show. Oh boy. Well, that was The Rings of Power, but it turns out there's an animated film in the works from Warner Brothers called The Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. And let's just say, the news about this has me a tad concerned. This article is from Bounding Into Comics. More details emerge about The Lord of the Rings, The War of Rohirrim. Edoras is destroyed. Movie explores female point of view. More details have emerged regarding The Lord of the Rings, War of the Rohirrim animated film from Warner Brothers Animation and director Kenji Kamiyama. Warner Brothers Animation recently showcased the film during a presentation at the 2023 Annecy International Animation Film Festival, and according to an initial report from Slash Film, it appeared the film would be injecting a heavy dose of feminism into Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings. Slash Film's initial report revealed the film would not have Helm Hammerhand as the main protagonist, as one would expect if they were adapting the brief short story found in Appendix A about Helm Hammerhand. Instead, the film is focusing on the unnamed daughter of Helm Hammerhand, that the movie has named Hera. So let me get this straight. The story of the War of the Rohirrim is adapted from a short story from the appendix of The Lord of the Rings about a male character named Helm Hammerhand. But the producers of this film have instead decided to focus the story on a female character who was so insignificant to the original story that Tolkien didn't even give her a name. That smacks of a contrived reason to have a female protagonist to me. Now, it is possible that this female protagonist could end up being more like the very likeable Éowyn, and that would be fine. But given where Hollywood has gone with the feminist Mary Sue tropes of late, I wouldn't be surprised if this female character was closer to the Rings of Power's Galadriel than Éowyn. The article continues. The film's producer, Philip Boyens, defended the decision to have the film feature Hera as the main protagonist, saying, "Everyone else dies, and before you start complaining, this is already in the text, and also the story takes place centuries before the movies." Not only would it feature Hera as the main protagonist, but according to Slash Film, there is a scene that shows the politics at play in Edoras, with the Lord of Rohan wanting to erase the history of a group of female warriors and banner women to the king, a prelude of things to come. Now, I could be wrong, but that sounds to me like it could potentially be yet more of the feminist women are victims narrative, which was never something that existed in Tolkien's original works. The article goes on to talk about a second report coming out of the presentation at Annecy International Animation Film Festival reveals that the city of Edoras will be destroyed in the film. This report comes from theonering.net, who details Edoras is destroyed at the end of Act 1. We saw some beautiful art of a burned Medusaled, and the rest of the movie is about the wreckage of war. So the destruction of Edoras sounds like yet more deviation from the canon of Tolkien's writings. Not only does the report from theonering.net claim that Edoras is destroyed, contrary to Tolkien's writing, but the site also provided further information about Hera, claiming Warner Brothers wanted to have her as a protagonist because they wanted to explore a female point of view in Middle-earth. The outlet went on to note that she's not a warrior princess per se, she doesn't become king. They also provided a physical description of her. She has red hair in a messy braid, leather armor and a sword. We also see designs of her in formal dress. It seems to me that creative license is often taken in the retconning of pop culture lore if a political message is being pushed. I suppose it could be worse. I mean, imagine how bad things would be if Disney was making The Lord of the Rings. I shudder to think. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.